Good morning. My name is Matt Call. I'm an operations section chief with Great Basin Team 3. We're here on the Tartar fire up just north of Weiser. We're part on BLM and part on the Payette, on the west side of the Payette National Forest. We're going to give you today's update. It's what was it, July 30th. The days are blurring together. It's July 30th. And right now the fire is just a little bit over 12,000 acres and we're at 52% containment. I'm going to talk a little bit about containment and then a little bit about what we're doing today and kind of what we have to look forward to for the weekend. So we're going to transfer to my iPad right here. I'm going to kind of show you the maps that we look at, and we'll kind of explain what the future's like and what's happening right now. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit on the map to kind of show you where we're located. You can kind of see Weiser there at the bottom of the map, and then the fires at the top. On the far right, those purple lines are power lines, and that's something we want to maintain, make sure we keep the fire away from. And those are what we call values at risk, and we take an assessment of all of those things, and we list those as risks, and then we adjust our objectives to kind of protect those. So around this fire perimeter, you're going to see some black, you're going to see some red, and a whole bunch of other different symbology. For you, the most important thing is the black and the red. The black means containment, and the red means it's uncontained. And what that means is we're pretty sure, like 90% sure, that the fire is not going to escape that line. That means it's got some sort of line or barrier edge so that the fire can't escape that. That doesn't mean it won't, it just means it's really unlikely that it will. And we're pretty confident it's going to stay within that boundary. And we're working really hard to create a containment line around the rest of the fire. The left half of the fire, a lot of that work was done by the initial attack crews, as we said before, which means that that's the local resources that are here already kind of stationed. But once they got taxed, they were here for about 4 days, and they just kind of reached their maximum. They needed a little bit of support, so they ordered our complex incident management team, and we came in with a little bit more robust organization to help them. And I'm going to explain a little bit about what that gains us here. So kind of in the center of our map, I'm going to zoom into what we're calling a spike camp. And what that is, that's a camp where we're going to put hand crews. So it's far away from the city, it's kind of far away from our other camp, and what that does is that means that the crews have to drive a less amount of time, which means they can work a longer day. Because these roads are bumpy, they're twisty, turny, those of you that have been up there, you know it takes a fair amount of time to travel even just a mile. And when we can take a half hour, an hour off of their drive time for the day, that means they can spend more time working. So we have a spike camp there, and we have a spike camp up here at Pine Creek. So what that requires is logistical support, food, water, fuel, all of those things for these crews to be able to operate. And that's part of the reason our team's here, is to provide all of those things to keep those folks out there working. Those engines, the hand crews, the hot shots, all of those other resources, the dozers, all of those things can live at those spike camps. So as you look at this line, all of the black X's are dozer line, and then all of there's some smaller red lines up here. I'm going to zoom in. The H stands for hand line, and that's where we've actually had crews digging a trail in the forest and constructing line. We haven't had any significant acreage gain on the fire, but there's still a lot of hot spots out there. And tomorrow we'll show you helicopter footage we have. What that's going to provide you is a vision of what this looks like and how the edge is really pretty dirty. And what we mean by that is it's not just a clean break between where the fire stops and where the fire starts. There's spots of fire kind of out here like we're showing these spots, and we have to go find all those, and then we actually have to construct line around them or cold trail them, put our hands in the dirt, in the ash, and make sure that the fire's out. And because of the fuels in the terrain, this takes a lot of time to go up and down all of these little canyons and in and out of all these crevices. In some places like this right here, the dozer line, that's probably not quite accurate, but it's a good example of where the dozer line doesn't quite match the edge of the perimeter. So that perimeter might be a little bit wrong, or we might have some unburned fuel like right here. When we have a pocket like that, we actually have to go down and either construct a little bit of hand line, or sometimes we'll put fire on the ground and burn it. And that just takes a little bit of extra time, but that eliminates the fuel between that dozer line and the fire. Sometimes we can't put the dozer line right on the edge of the fire based on the terrain. So this whole trouble spot along what we've been calling the peninsula is just a combination of hand line and dozer line in this really kind of complicated piece of ground that goes up and down and around, and it's taking some time. But we have 4 hotshot crews, 4 or 5 other type 2 hand crews, and then 3 dozers, and then about 5 or 6 engines just working in this place where we don't have it contained. And by working them closer from those spike camps and getting more done, we're confident we can progress this line pretty quickly. Our goal is to have a large amount of this done by the weekend. On Saturday night, we have a wind event coming we're pretty concerned about. We have predicted high winds, 30 to 40 miles an hour. What that's going to do is it's going to test the edge of our fire. It's going to put a lot of wind on that fire from this direction. Basically, it has the ability to blow embers out from our fire perimeter. And if you saw those spots on the map, those spot fires were 1/6 of a mile away from the edge of our fire. And that no fire line, we can't build a fire line wide enough to compensate for that. So the further we can get with our line and the more we can let that fire burn and contain it, the higher likelihood we have of limiting those spots, and then that will free up our resources when that wind event does come to be able to chase those spots when they do occur. Another thing we're getting tomorrow is a UAS. It's an unmanned aerial aircraft, or basically a drone. And what it has is an infrared camera, and it can fly around in the forest and kind of look for these spots. So it saves us a lot of time. It can just find them, and then we can send crews right there. So we're pretty excited. We're going to get this in a couple of days. The rest of our resources, we're just at a good point. We feel comfortable with what we have. We got another helicopter yesterday, so you might see some more helicopters flying, and then once in a while we'll get an air attack, which allows us to put 3 or 4 or 5 helicopters up there at once in a tighter airspace because they can manage it a little bit better and also keep the pilots safe. So right now we're feeling really good where we're at. We have a couple of days but hot temperatures. So we're going to see kind of where the actual heat is. We're going to go attack these spots, and tomorrow we'll have a little bit better idea what we have and how much more line we have, and we'll represent that on the map for you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.